Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez, House Homeland Security Committee member. And Congressman, let's start with that phone call that President Biden is having with Russian President Vladimir Putin today. Here is State Department spokesman Ned Price. Listen to what he had to say.
We have made clear to Moscow that we will respond resolutely, including with a range of what we have called high-impact economic measures that we've refrained from using in the past.
Okay, so we're talking about high-impact economic measures, i.e. sanctions. So what should the president say, and will he deliver?
He should be strong in his delivery and his message to Putin about our resolve in this issue. I mean, this is, if Russia does go ahead and invade Ukraine and then gobble them up, it's the second largest country by land size in Europe, and it's only a harbinger of things to come. And so this is very important that we don't allow this. I believe the president needs to use every tool at his disposal, including economic sanctions. But one other tool that he has that he probably won't use is energy. Energy is key to Russia's economy. We're destroying our energy-producing sector here in the United States. We ought to start ramping that up and pose a serious threat to Russia and its ability to generate cash.
Okay, Congressman, you've talked about what you want Joe Biden to do, what you hope Joe Biden does, what he should do. At the end of the day, will Vladimir Putin be more or less emboldened following today's conversation?
Look, Vladimir Putin and the rest of the world saw what we did in Afghanistan. Hopefully the president learned his lesson from that. But 40 years of history tells us that this president is very weak. And when you show weakness on the world stage, bad actors will take advantage of it. And so while I hope that the president does the right things, history tells me otherwise.
Yeah, well, he says he's a foreign policy expert, so let's hope he is right on that front. Yesterday, the Biden administration announced a diplomatic boycott on the Olympics in Beijing, meaning no U.S. officials will go, but athletes will still be allowed to attend. And then China released this statement in response. They say if the U.S. insists in willfully clinging to its course, China will take resolute countermeasures. They're talking about taking countermeasures. What do you make of that situation?
Well, I don't know what the countermeasures means, but if I were President Biden, I'd say bring it on. But also, President Biden hasn't gone far enough. We should just boycott the Olympics. The things that the Chinese are doing to their own people, the Uyghur minorities, is barbaric. What they're doing to Hong Kong, again, really clamping down on freedom of expression, freedom of speech. Those are not American values, and we should not reward the Chinese by having our athletes go there. So this whole thing about a diplomatic boycott is nonsense. They're still going to have the Olympics. They're still going to generate money, and so that's not what we should be doing. We should really be boycotting the entire thing, and our athletes should not go.
But now, Congressman, the Biden administration may need to rely on Russia and on China as the Iran nuclear talks are really on the verge of collapsing right now. How emasculating is it that we may need to crawl with our tail between our legs to Russia, to China, after Biden literally purposely destroyed any leverage we had with Iran by saying, oh, we're going to get out of this nuclear deal? It just seems like it is a sad circular situation.
Yeah, and again, it shows you the weakness of the Biden administration, and this so-called expert is getting us into more and more trouble every single day and putting the United States in a very dangerous situation. Look, the only way to deal with thugs is through strength, and the only way to peace is through strength. The more you appease, the more that they'll take, the more that puts you in danger. I think all you need to do is ask Neville Chamberlain how appeasement helped him back in the 30s with Germany. And so, look, it's amazing to me that we don't learn the history, the lessons of history. It's right there in front of you. The only way to peace is through strength, not through appeasement.
Yeah, and you know, Congressman, we're seeing just an increased amount of malign activity. Russia may invade Ukraine. China may invade Taiwan. And you said it, you got to be strong so these things don't happen. Congressman Carlos Gimenez, thank you so much for sharing your perspective on all these three fronts, Iran, China, and Russia as well. Very important topics to get to, and we'll have to wait and see how that phone call with the president goes today between President Biden and Putin. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.